All right, so let's go ahead and pick up where we left off here. So the last thing we did is we worked on our function, or excuse me, our action on tapped. All right, so again, we were just working on picking up where the user was tapping on the screen, and then we were getting that location as the selected point there, and then just we're so basically getting whatever label they clicked on our grid there. So we need to take care. We have an error right now because we have a function place value into label. Okay, that's going to basically take it's going to place whatever label that is selected and decide what to do here. So we got to create this function here. All right, so basically this function is going to basically determine if the label is going to be X or O, and that's probably one of the main parts of tic-tac-toe. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to go below our function here, or excuse me, the action, and we're going to create a new function here. All right, so we're going to create this function, and it's going to be the same thing that's right here. So if you want, you can just copy and paste that just to make sure you spell that correctly so you don't get any issues there. So we got a function place value into label. All right, and then again, since we passed a label parameter up here, we've got to set up this function needs to take an argument. So let me just enter up here so you can see that. There we go. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and call this my label, and we'll go ahead and make this a type UI label. Okay, so there's our function. Okay, so there we go. Errors should be gone at this point, and they are. And I'm just going to go ahead and make that a constant. Okay, so we got our function place value into label. So again, this function is going to receive the selected label, so whatever they select when they tap, and it's going to decide what to do. All right, so when they tap the screen up here, this function is going to decide what to do. So we're going to say if my label dot text, if it's okay, so if it's blank. Okay, then we're going to kind of branch off of that. So we're blank. All right, so the label is blank here. So then we're going to see what is the current turn label showing. So we're going to go if current turn label dot text. All right, so remember we added this current turn label to the top left corner of our screen. So that's going to tell it what's happening here. If the current turn label text is X, okay, my label, then that's going to make the label inside of the grid is going to be X. Okay, so it's basically going to, let me back up here, sorry about that, delete there, cool. Okay, so then if the current turn is X, the label is going to be X, okay, and then the current turn label dot text is going to turn back to O. All right, so that means the next turn up is O. Okay, so it's either X or O here. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to change this. We're not comparing, we are assigning. All right, so we're assigning the value of the string X to my label dot text. Okay, else. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our else statement in here. So if the current label is X, okay, now we're going to say, well, what happens if if it's not X? Then that means my label dot text needs to equal O. Go ahead and capitalize that. Okay, and then the current turn label dot text has to equal X. Okay, so at this point, what this function is doing, again, so let's just review what's happening here. So it's going through. Okay, so it's going to take the selected label from where we tapped. Okay, and then then again, that's coming from up here. All right, and then we're calling that my label. So whatever they tap is essentially my label. Okay, so that's what's happening here. Okay, so then we're going to decide what to do. So if that label is empty, okay, two things are going to happen. If the current turn label text is X, then the label on the grid will be X, and the current turn label turns to O. If not, my label text will be O, and the current turn label text will be X there. Okay, if all that happens there, so after each time we're doing that here, we're going to create a function called check for winner. All right, we'll get to that one next here, but basically that's going to look to see, do we have a winner? And if we have a winner, we're going to make something happen. Okay, but I'll go ahead and stop it at this point. We'll just kind of focus on one function at a time here. So make sure, again, you've got your code set up. If at this point, your only error should be the one error we have here for check for winner, and we will take care of that error next time. All right, so good job. Keep moving along here, and we'll see you next time.